Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another weekly wrap-up for Health Declassified. And we're going to start. Kathleen, hi, are you going to do your deep dive? Let's
I
go.
am, I am in fact, Peter, going to do a deep dive, and I was just wondering, have you ever heard of creatine?
I have. It's an enzyme, is it not?
Well, I want to talk about creatine supplementation. It's not one that you often hear. You often hear about
Hmm.
vitamin C, vitamin D, but not this one. So, creatine is one of the most overlooked nutrients for energy, even though it plays a central role in how your body stores and uses fuel. So creatine isn't just for athletes, by the way. It fuels your brain function. It's good for your immune response and recovery from stress and illness by supporting how your cells make and recycle energy. It works behind the scenes to keep your energy output stable and responsive, particularly during moments of high demand like physical exertion, mental stress, or immune recovery. So, older adults, vegetarians, and those with brain fog or long COVID are especially likely to benefit from creatine as natural production and intake often fall short. So, low creatine levels are linked to cognitive fatigue and vascular stiffness, to mitochondrial dysfunction and loss of muscle integrity. So, daily creatine supplementation improves memory, learning, and executive function in aging adults, including those with Alzheimer's disease, Peter.
Hmm.
Can you imagine? Yeah. So, when combined with resistance training, creatine helps build lean muscles, speed recovery, and reduces the risk of frailty related falls and fractures. And what is the best source of creatine, you might ask? Well, grass fed red meats is one of the best food sources, but supplementing 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate daily is a safe and effective way to increase levels. And this article is from Dr. Mercola's site, and we will provide a link in our newsletter to that full article for you. So, what do you think, Peter?
Well, I thought while you were talking, I thought I've read about creatine, and I'm sure it comes from red meat. And I can remember reading several articles on one of the risks of vegetarianism and ve being vegan is reduced creatine and the need to supplement. So yeah, well, that's very important.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Very good. Thanks, Kathleen. So I picked up two quick ones, and I'll go through them very quickly. The first one was a very interesting article from Epoch Health on irritable bowel syndrome. Now, I've been diagnosed with this. You know, there are three types of irritable bowel syndrome. There's D, which is predominantly diarrhea. There's C, which is predominantly constipation, and there is M, which is a bit of both. And there's a sort of vague other one where it's all over the place and they can't identify it.
Mhm.
It's the most common gastrointestinal disorder amongst adults in North America,
Mhm.
and they estimate that 50% of the people with it are undiagnosed, so they don't know what the problem is, right? It's quite a long article. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the severity of it varies from mild inconvenience to life-altering seriousness. So, there's some people with it that have got to be within like 30 minutes of a toilet all the time. And can you imagine how badly that will affect your life? Fortunately, I'm nowhere near that bad. Mine is more the mild irritation than anything else. So that was one very interesting one. And anyone who's got stomach issues, you need to read that article because it might give you some ideas and things you can do about it. The
Mhm.
second one, which I found quite fascinating, came from Touchstone. And this is recent studies that find low vitamin D levels in the blood can predispose women to breast cancer, and higher vitamin D levels in the blood can help prevent breast cancer, but also increase the probability of survival if one should get breast cancer, right? And it goes on to say that breast cancer affects 1 in 8 women in the USA. Can you imagine? So I know, Kathleen, it's something that you've looked into a lot, and you've looked at it as something that's actually a better indicator than mammograms, right? Or we believe it's a better indicator than mammograms. So do you want to talk about that quickly? You got some pictures there you want to flash.
I
I mean,
did.
sorry, poor choice of words, but
Well, Peter, I am a firm believer in thermography. In fact, we will provide a link to an interview that we did with a lady locally who runs a thermography clinic. And this is it's a procedure where, they take pictures of your chest and they look for hot spots. So it's all based on heat, but they can pick up variances almost in some cases even before it's detectable on a mammogram, which is quite fascinating. And it gives you the progression from one test to the other. So you could be progressing to a higher risk level. And, I've had it done a few times. So this is, a copy of my report, and this is, what it looks like. And then they go into detail as to where these hot spots are in your breast tissue and whether it's hormonally based and what you can do to help mitigate all of that. So, highly, highly
Hmm.
recommend thermography. Um, my preference, I'm not, no disrespect to anybody who prefers mammograms. That's fine. That's your choice. Mine is thermography and ultrasound versus mammogram. That's me personally.
And what you were saying when you told me that you'd had it done is it's far less uncomfortable than mammogram, where you
Oh,
end up
there's
getting
no
squashed, right? This is.
Absolutely. There's no discomfort. It's just a special camera that they used, and they take various pictures at various angles, like 360 around your body. And then it's a report that is sent to a doctor at a clinic who analyzes these, the images, and
Mm, mm.
they provide a
And
report.
no risk of radiation.
Right, right.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow. So just a quick one. I mentioned Touchstone, and they have a number of products, nutritional products. They also have some really good products to help with longevity and combat aging.
Mhm.
And there'll be a link in the newsletter for that. But Kathleen, let's you tell me, how are you getting on with your drops? I know I've seen a huge improvement in. I better be careful what I say here. I'm just seeing that you seem much more comfortable, happier, and well rested than you were before since you've been taking your new stuff. So, do you want to tell us about that?
Well, absolutely. And you know what, Peter, I just flashed my thermography report and it came back that I had a lot of hormonal imbalances. So my issue was my goal was to try to get my body back into balance.
Hmm.
And these drops have been so pivotal for me. They're called Slenderiiz by Partner Co. And we will provide a link for more information on these drops, but they really help to, well, and for in general, they help to suppress the appetite, but they balance your hormones. They support proper thyroid functioning, aid in digestion, and they level out your insulin and your sugar levels. So that's what these drops do. And we talked about visceral fat, that belly
Yeah.
fat around the middle, Peter. Well, there's another product that Partner Co has, which is called the Abvantage. It's a supplement that can help boost metabolism and help you burn calories 10 times more than normal. So there you go.
Wow. 10 times faster. As I said before, I wish I'd known about that a few months ago when I was trying to lose weight, and I've done it through intermittent fasting and a good diet and lots of exercise, but it's been hard. But anyway, we've done it. Wow, thanks for all that, Kathleen. And as you said, there will be links in the description and more links in the newsletter. So let's tell you what's been happening on the Health Declassified this week. Well, I messed up with my scheduling. We normally publish a guest episode every second week, and I don't know how I did it, but we had Deborah Kadagian last week, and then we have Rabbi Daniel Cohen today. Sorry, on Tuesday of this week. So anyway, that's a bonus one for everybody. Daniel Cohen, Rabbi Daniel Cohen, he's a motivational speaker, a mentor, and an author. We had a really enlightening conversation with him about living with intention and purpose and finding meaning in life. And he also talks about living and leaving a life of legacy. So, very good episode. He gives some ideas on what you can do to find meaning in your life. So, I think that was a really good episode. Coming up, who have we got? We've got 2 weeks' time. We've got Zebra Zaka, and she has developed a vital health map. So she looks at your life from diet, exercise, other habits, and tries to help you just live a better, all round, healthier life. So she was a good one. And We will have 2 weeks after her, we will have, if I remember rightly, it's Dr. Bill Andrews who talks about longevity. Quite an amazing guy, 71 years old, running marathons. So that's our lineup of episodes coming up. And of course, we always have a featured author. And this week, it's this week's guests. Rabbi Daniel Cohen, and he has a book called Secrets of the Light. It's a novel, and it's set in New York about a young guy who's looking for purpose and finding some spiritual advice, and it tells the story of his life. So there'll be a link to that in our newsletter. That's really about it from me, I think. Kathleen, what about you? Have you got any final words?
Well, thank you so very much for tuning in, and we so appreciate having you. So until next week, take care, everyone. Bye bye.